so today is the another big day. We're getting ready to do the walls, do the framing. We already did some last night, and we've just about got a wall ready to stand up, and it's gonna be my front wall. It's gonna be the wall with the two front garage doors. We already got the seal plates already done. Holes are drilled so they fit over the bolts, and those are all good to go. So we made some pretty good progress in a short amount of time last night. All right, here's what we got going. So there's the header for the garage door. There'll be another header over here. I've got all my studs. All the studs are cut down, so it's 12 foot from the top of the seal or top plate to the seal plate to the bottom. So it's actually 12 foot to that point right there. Now we just gotta nail it all together, stand her up, and then start another wall. Repeat that process 3 more times, and we got our walls up. And then we'll be taking those sheets and plastering them all around. All right, guys. I guess I'll probably do some time lapse, since it's gonna be kind of boring to be sitting here listening to me cut and drill, and it's gonna be hours of work, and I don't think the camera's gonna last that long. Alrighty, guys. Alrighty, so not to scare y'all, some voices here, but do a quick voiceover. We're lifting this wall up. You'll see the board. I put it down. All that weight went on my son because the board slipped. I kind of felt bad. He started making some funny noises. I was trying to pop his back right there. So once we got this wall up, man, I tell you what, this was definitely a WTF moment, because the wall didn't look that big, and everybody there could tell you this wall did not look that big when it's on the ground. But the perspective definitely changes once you stand this bad boy up, or even in the middle of standing it up, it's like, holy crap, this wall just keeps going. And And I stood there for a second looking at it going, man, this thing is going to be huge. So when we had first poured the concrete, it didn't seem so big. I mean, it seemed nice. It was a nice size, pad of concrete, but at the same time, it just didn't seem as big. And when we stood that first wall up, and I could tell, I was like, man, this is going to be huge. It's going to be great, though. It's not a bad thing. It's great. I'm glad I went with 12-foot walls. One, because I plan on putting a car lift on there on the far side of this pad. And two, it's going to give me more space to build lofts and put in, storage areas for everything that we have, junk that we don't really necessarily need, stuff from the house, whatever. We can stuff it up in a loft area and get it out of the way and keep the floor space open. That's the main thing, is just keeping the floor space open, so when we're working on a couple vehicles, we're not tripping over each other and knocking into things and just too tight like it was underneath the carport. So what I'm doing here is I got a jig set up, and you'll see here in a second my neighbor's going to show up with another guy to help out. But we made a jig. We just put a board stop. Here he comes. So I put a board stop in here to slide the 2x4 up in there. It'll stop at that board, and you cut it. And it was supposed to be at a certain length. Problem is, these boards don't always come perfectly the same length. There's going to be some good variances in these board lengths. So there ended up being some boards a little too long, a little too short, so we had to kind of cut them down a little bit once we got going. But what he ends up doing here is he ends up going through and marking the seal plate and the top plates, so for all our stud placements, which was a great help. That freed me up to make sure we keep going on the boards, cutting the boards down and moving things around and getting things ready, staging them. So he actually came back the other day. I stopped by to see if he wanted to help me some more, and sure enough, he jumped up and came on over, gave me a hand. So it's great having that knowledge. The boys do great. I don't want to take anything away from them. They do great. They do what they can. They don't have a ton of knowledge of this stuff. Not that I do, but they don't understand what I want to do or what needs to happen. I can give them a task. They'll go do the task. Like, hey, just take these boards, lay them out. Put them on the marks. Okay. So that's easy enough, And of course, running a nailer, stuff like that, it's great. There's a lot of little things they can do without me having to really tell them. But the bigger thing is like what this gentleman's doing here. His name is Aaron. What he's doing is marking out every, 16 on centers. So, not that they probably couldn't do that. I'm sure they could do that. It's just, he understands it better and knows what's going on. Probably better than me, honestly. But in any case, just want to give you a little bit of a voiceover on this, explain what's going on, rather than just having music going and watching a bunch of people run around like ants. Might do some more voiceovers if I see a good spot. Oh, there comes my daughter with my grandson. Come watch what's going on. That's always a nice little distraction. In case y'all didn't know, I'm a granddaddy. That's my first little grandson. He's actually got his little feet prints over there when the concrete was wet. So that's cool. If you haven't watched the first video of the concrete pour, please go back and watch the first one. Watch the concrete pour, and you'll see this pad being poured. Unfortunately, I didn't do much recording when we were digging it all out. I had some pictures in that video of us digging stuff out, but that was about it. I was too gung-ho to get the dirt work done. Alrighty, guys. Let's see what else happens. Alrighty, so what I'm doing here is just putting up the top plate. As you noticed, we picked up this wall in 2 sections, so it's a lot lighter. I'm just up here nailing up that top plate, getting it straight because it's a little crooked, little bowed. So, and you'll notice here, coming up here in just a few seconds, well, a little bit more in a few seconds, but anyways, you'll see this wall here on the side, these 2 side walls go really quick. I think mostly just for the fact that there's no openings, there's no special requirements to go, you know, jack studs and king studs and all that stuff. Just having just straight 2x4s, it just went so much faster. And you'll see here in a second, once these boards start laying down, man, they go quick. Once he gets out of the way and we just start laying them out, man, it just falls right into place, stands right up, and then repeat, you know, on the other side. Which was pretty nice. I figured as much, since we're just nailing 2x4s in there and not having to worry about headers and all that nice fun stuff. Okay, so here we are. All four walls are up. End of the day, you see the sun setting. Man, I was drenched in sweat. I was beat, and I realized towards the end of all this, I was like, man, I ain't sat down once. I even ate a couple slices of pizza that my daughter went and grabbed for everybody. And I'm just laying there on the ground playing with my grandson for a minute. I left a big old sweaty mark on the concrete. I was beat. I know there's probably a lot of people out there could have had this done in a fraction of the time, but taking your time and making sure everything's correct, and wife's out there looking at it, talking about how it's gonna be our new bedroom and master bedroom closet, and I was like, sure. My daughter had to go put the grandson in front of the camera for a minute. So yeah, it was pretty nice. Had some beers that night. Felt good. Felt really great accomplishing that wall, man. That was it wasn't necessarily a lot. It was just it was one of them things that just took time making sure everything was right. But I'll have a shot here the next day, I think, going around talking about everything. Alright, day number 2 after starting on all this construction. 12-foot walls, high as hell. But she's coming together. Today we're going to do some sheathing. Do some time lapse on this one. There's my doorway. There's garage door 1, 2, and 3. I got to go back up here and I got to add the little stubby 2x4s up in there to transfer the weight to the header. Other than that, got a little bit of rain, got a low spot here, but no big deal. It is what it is. Alright folks, here we go. So here we are moving the R panels, the tin roof. There's 22 sheets of it, and looking at it don't look heavy, but they're 16-foot panels, and when you're picking them up, we only picked up like 2 at a time. It was a little heavy, not crazy, but it was a little heavy. That is a little awkward, so move all those out so we can get to the sheets of OSB. It's funny how the boys are rotating and I'm just going back and forth. They're taking turns and I'm just going back and forth. But anywho, it's all good. It's my project anyways. Guess I should do the most work. Cutting the straps off the or the bands off the sheets of plywood there. Or not plywood, OSB. I gotta stop calling it plywood. It's OSB. I don't know why I'm measuring there. I guess I was just double checking my height. It actually ended up being 10 feet 2 inches, so I'm gonna have to add a 2x4 to the bottom of it, because the max the garage doors I can get with the wind rating that I need is 10 by 10 exact, so not a big deal. I'll just slap on a 2x4 to fill in that gap at the bottom. And these are going to be roll-up doors. These aren't going to be your conventional garage doors. A little bit different, so they don't take up any headspace when you open them. They just roll up into themselves, which is a lot nicer, which is kind of what I have now in the shed, but it's a lot smaller, which I'll probably go ahead and try and sell that, recuperate, I don't know, $150. See if anybody wants it. I doubt it. Doesn't seem like I can get anybody to ever buy stuff that I have. So we're just adding some more 2x4s to the corners here before we start putting up a couple sheets. Alright, so here in a second we're going to disappear. My neighbor showed up again. I had asked him about something, I think something to do with the scaffolding, so you'll see here in a short period of time. I'll clip a chunk of this out if I have to, but you'll see us come back with scaffolding and start setting that up. which is extremely handy right now because I was going to probably rent some scaffolding, but since he had some, he just let me borrow it. This neighbor of mine has been completely awesome. His name is Moses. We call him Mo. He's a retired guy from NASA. He did maintenance work out there at NASA here in Houston. Great guy. Couldn't ask for a better neighbor, man. Really lucked out with him. All my neighbors are really good, honestly, except for ones across the street. They're not so great. But anyways, here we are, starting to bring the pieces over. The scaffolding turned out to be priceless, honestly. We'll be using it today, as you'll see in one of my next videos coming up after this one. Is going to be us putting up a huge beam in the middle that's going to go on that board, or that 4x6 that's in the middle of the wall there. In case y'all are wondering what that's for, that's going to be load transfer. So here you go. Here goes the scaffolding. That's pretty much all the pieces there. My son's working on the adjustable leg there. It was a little rusty, so he put some lubricant on there and was smacking around to get it to free up. Okay, coming back at you with a little bit of closing commentary on this video. Thanks for sticking around if you have this long. Listen to me talk throughout this video if you like that. Please let me know. Comment below. Give this video a thumbs up if you like it. Thumbs down, whatever you want to do. Like, subscribe, share, pass the word around. Let people know, hey, there's this dumb white boy who does crazy things and shows us on the videos. Anyways, just put this picture up here just to show y'all something, so you're not staring at a black screen while I'm talking. But anywho, thanks for sticking around this long. Oh, and definitely out there for anybody that's new subscribers, I 100% appreciate that. Thank y'all. I like seeing new subscribers come across there. It's great, and hopefully one day we'll be a big enough channel. All right, guys, take it easy.
It's not a game, it's a rich thing.